Heated gloves, game changer. Boy, is it cold out. Super sketchy weather, but we are out here. Today is Tuesday, January 24th. All right, I am out. It's 37 degrees, but it's not below freezing. It is cold, but I am managing with heated gloves. What is today? Today is episode 7, and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to this e-bike community enthusiast. I won't mention his name just yet. Although if you saw in the thumbnail, you already know who this guy is. If you don't, you're gonna wanna watch this one. This guy walks around with a wealth of knowledge. My friend, not only does he modify e-bikes, but he does it in style. So this guy gets style points. I never gave style points before, but this guy gets them. And today is a treat because he has two of the coolest, modest, or should I say, the two of the coolest fully modded electric bikes. I have about 3 videos to put out with this guy because the bikes are just that awesome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the bikes and about him and what he brings to the community, because if you are considering doing something similar, then this is the guy that you might want to reach out to, especially if you're in the tri-state area. So this e-bike enthusiast can be described as witty, charming, knowledgeable, extremely friendly, outgoing, and very generous with his time. Now, I met him at one of our group rides, and it is thanks to the guys at Inspire Cycles. So not to take any focus away from him, but Inspire Cycles has been a huge asset to me and to the community. They do some amazing work. They hooked me up with the guys over at Powerful Lithium, and those guys have changed my life. Like literally, my e-bike life has completely turned around. Full 180. So without any further ado, let's get into this one. I present to you episode 7 of the e-bike community spotlight. Woo!
Hey guys, I am Brent, also known as Brentley Builds on Instagram. I have been a PEV enthusiast for years, probably since like 2017. Started with boosted boards, and now we got Sur Ron supers and DIY boards. Getting into personal electric vehicles it's kind of been like a necessity thing. I used to work in Manhattan every day. Now it's once a week because of COVID, but it was annoying being on the path, crushed with bodies, worst part of the day. So I was like, what can I do to make this the best part of my day? Saw a bunch of ads for electric skateboards. I thought that looked fun. I skated a little bit when I was a kid. I wasn't any kind of good, but I could go down a hill fast. So I got a boosted, modded it a little. Always modded things because modding things is fun. It's what I do. So from there it just progressed. I got into faster boards, started building them. Then I thought I was gonna get into bikes just for fun, just to cruise around. But then I wanted to go fast, so I started to figure out how to do that. But yeah, it was started with commuting, and then my penchant for modding. My desire to mod things just took over, and that became another hobby. So I've always been into tinkering in any form of that word. I used to fix remotes when I was a kid. I used to build little circuits to create to turn on light bulbs when I was a kid. And then I got into mechanical stuff through cars. I had a friend whose father was big into hot rodding, so hanging out at his garage, figuring out how to take old E30s apart. Back when you could buy them for $200, we'd buy them and, beat them up in a field, and then break them, got to fix them, learn through that process. And then when I was in college, I actually worked at a shop called Flemington Foreign Car. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that actually, but anyway, I worked there as like a shop hand / like tech and training. So I learned a lot on that job as well, doing basic stuff like suspension, brake work, mild engine work, nothing crazy. So I've always been able to kind of take things apart, put them back together, figure out how they work, modify them to my like goals. You know what I mean? Typically that just means like a little bit prettier, a little bit faster, sometimes a lot faster. So that's yeah. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. I like picking up wrenches. I like figuring out how things work and making them work better for my needs. Right now, the two main bike projects are my Super 73 Z1 and Sur Ron. So this is the Super that I've built up. It's around where I would consider done. The final few things I want to do to it are like little things like messing with regen and potentially a more powerful controller, just because my boy Mackey's doing me up with his 300 amp and I only got the 200 amp, and I don't think that's right. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But let's start out with like all the mods. So this is a frame up build. The only thing that is stock on this bike from a parts perspective is the handlebars, and every piece of the bike has been touched either way. So what I mean by frame up is I took it down to its frame. I bought it for like $700 on Facebook Marketplace. It was pretty beat up. Someone had bought a white one, painted it black, had a red seat. So I thought that was cool, but it was just turned out to be a rattle can paint job. But that's fine because I was going to change it anyway. So I took it all down, and originally I was going to build it for a cruiser for my then fiance, now wife, to kind of ride around on. But I wanted to kind of pick a color that we both liked. So there's this one BMW color called Techno Violet that was popular on like I think 90s M3s, and I wanted something like that. So I talked to some friends down in Secaucus who do powder coating, and not Secaucus, Sayreville, my bad, Sayreville, who do powder coating, and they found this kind of cool, really dark purple metallic color I've got going on here. It's I think it's a cranberry glaze is the color code, I think, or color name. Anyway, so start off with that, and from there wanted to add some cool flair to it, right? So that's where I picked up like the neochrome bits idea. So like you see all this like neochrome titanium throughout the bike. That was just something I always thought looked kind of fun and wanted to mess with from a design perspective. So decided that would be like the accent of the bike. So and then needed some blockiness in it, so that's where the white comes from, and that's what we got here and here. But anyway, down to like actual mods. So the thing going from back to front, I guess, would be it's got a 3 kilowatt QS motor. It's got a Salt BMX chain, again neochrome part, pretty fun. Custom crankset I think I picked up off Amazon. It's actually from my Mario build that rest in peace over there. It's got a FLP extension kit, which really helps with the wheelies, frankly. It's got a lot of power for a bike this size, and it kind of really helps keep the front down. It also makes it a little bit more, I guess, stable in turning, even though it's mainly a straight line bike. But yeah, carbon fiber fender, and carbon fiber front fender and splash guard from Craft and Ride. Good company. They usually do one wheel stuff, but they have a good super kit for fenders. And then we get into the fun stuff. There's a Kelly KLS 200 under the seat. It mounts in a kind of interesting way. This is actually set up so that the seat folds forward, so you can actually like pop the seat and mess with the controller under there. And that's hooked up to a 20S 8P Molly cell pack built by the homies at Powerful Lithium. I think Andy actually built this pack, so shout out to Andy. Thank you, Andy. And that is covered by a some beautiful upholstery work, as you can see here. This is a bag I commissioned by my friend Bobby Bundles. Good dude. Makes really nice bike bags. Great for holding batteries, any other thing else you want to put in them. But worked with him to kind of bring a bit of a vision of mine to life here. This fabric is actually out of a 90s E34 M5. Yeah, E34 M5, I think. So it's called the Hurricane pattern. I'm a big fan of it, being an 80s and 90s Beamer head. So I wanted to bring that to the bike. And then obviously neochrome buckles throughout it to really just like set it off. So that's really fun. And then custom headlight set up by me. Mr. E, I'm sure will show you. We've got some fun X's going on in the front of them, which was kind of what attracted me to them when I found them online. And then we got, fun part is my my BMX number plate. So, I mean, not to talk shit, but I did do the BMX number plate before Super did, and I'm gonna claim that. So, anyway, really happy with the way the bike turned out. The throttle is actually kind of fun too. It's both a voltmeter and thumb throttle. I find I like thumb throttle for straight line bikes. It's around where I would consider done. The final few things I want to do to it are like little things like messing with regen and potentially a more powerful controller, just because my boy Mackey's doing me up with his 300 amp and I only got the 200 amp, and I don't think that's right. So gonna have to fix that. So started with the desire to kind of want to make this bike BMX looking. So that's why I found the number plate idea kind of fun, and it kind of does tie the look of the bike together with like the stock high bar still. So yeah, I really like the way it turned out. But just I guess a couple other things I guess I forgot was 203 brake rotors with Tektro pads all around. Tektros are fine, if you bleed them right and you get the right compound pad, you'd be all right. Like, people talk shit about them, but I think they're decent for stopping under 60-pound bikes.
Everybody was raving about the Magura.
Yeah. Everyone talks about the Maguras, but we'll get into my thoughts about Maguras on the Sur Ron. But what else on the Super? Fun little stuff I've done is I just from my skateboard days, loop keys are big. So you can turn this whole bike on and off with a loop key. So I actually have what I would call a kill switch, basically, which is fun for security and emergency issues. And then I've got a LP20 charge port that I've worked into the side of it. That's what?
For the battery?
Yeah, that's how I charge it.
I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
LP20 charge port for it. I like LP20s. Another skateboard thing, Lacroix uses them, and I'm a fan of their work. So wanted to incorporate that into the bike if I could, and it's got this nice little pocket for it right there. So yeah, that's kind of the Super, I guess. That's the Super, I guess. The main goal with it was to first just be like a fun bike for my wife to ride around on. She didn't really want to ride it when it was slow, so I was like, well, if you're not going to ride it, I'm going to make it fast, and I'm going to ride it. So that's what I did. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I call it the Sketchy Unicorn. It's because of its kind of unicorn-esque appearance, and because it's quite sketchy. I've dumped it mystery was there. I think I was racing. I raced you and I dumped it. Yeah, that's what happened. But it's fine. But yeah, that's the Super.
I was going to mention that. You ready to jump to?
Yeah, we can do the Ronnie.
Let me stop this.
When I got into e-bikes, I told myself I'd never buy a Sur Ron or an Onyx, and I'm still holding out on Onyxes, but I did end up buying a Sur Ron, and this is why. I first got into e-bikes just as a wanting something to kind of cruise on. Again, my friend Bobby Bundles, aka Rob, aka Bobby, aka Vinyl by Bobby on IG. We were friends from like e-skate days, and he got into bikes, and I was always curious about them, but I never thought I'd want one. I always I like carving. I like the ability to pick up a board, walk it into a place, that kind of thing. But bikes just looked fun because I used to mountain bike when I was a kid, so I had that in my mind. I was like, I kind of want to get back into it. So he helped me get together a Mario. He the first iteration of that bike he built for me from the ground up, and then I learned from him and kind of figured out that I did want to go a little bit faster on an e-bike and do some mods to give it some more torque and that kind of thing. So I always thought I wanted to do that on fat tire bikes. I thought fat tire bikes are cool. I like Supers. I like Marios. Anything with like a 20x4 profile I was generally into. Sparks, great bike. So I always just wanted to build fast versions of that, which is what I did. I built honestly a dangerously torquey Mario. It had so much power that I needed to get custom dropouts made that were like cut from steel so that the motor didn't spin, because the stock dropouts are just not doing it. So I just from there learned that if I'm going to do big power bikes, I got to get a big power frame. So that's what brought me to Sur Rons. And yeah, it's my first Sur Ron. I obviously had a bunch of friends in the biz from Powerful Lithium, V, Andy, Mackie, all great guys. Known Mackie since e-skate days. Like, it was like one of my first PEV friends. And I talked to them about what battery I was looking for. I got a pretty nice setup, in my opinion, from them. I'm very happy with it. It's got a 20S 9P Molly cell pack, P42As, and that's the main battery here you see, and then a 20S 5P Molly cell pack on top of that. Both have 400 amp BMSs in it, so combined discharge I could potentially peak at like 800. That's like stupid. I'm never going to do that. At least battery amps, I'm not going to do that. But having the headroom is nice. You could technically run both batteries separate from each other or in parallel, because they are BMS wired on discharge and charge, so they balance themselves out there. And yeah, that's kind of the battery that I'm running on the Sur Ron. Really big fan of it. Definitely knew I was going to go 20S pack, 72 volt pack when I bought the bike. So it was just a matter of time and working with V and the Powerful Lithium guys to get it done, and they crushed it. So really happy with the setup there. And that kind of moves me into like what I'm experimenting power-wise now with the bike is controllers. So from again the Mario, I had a good experience overall with Sabatons. I was running a 200 amp Sabaton on that bike. Decided I wanted to try that on the Sur Ron because I saw DJ Sounds do it. I was like, so it's got to work. Someone figured it out. So I got it running, and honestly, it's overall a fine controller. It gets the bike moving fast. If you want to do the dumb things I do, like put big 19-inch motorcycle tires on it and still have torque, you're going to need a little bit more push than the 200 amp Sabaton. So that's my current my current next project is messing with the controller setup on this bike. Again, I was able to get the Sabaton running decent on it. I like it. Overall, there's some quirks that you get into with them running a mid-drive motor. They weren't really designed for mid-drives. So that was a challenge, especially when I switched to an unlocked 200 amp Sabaton. That one, that's the one that's on it right now, and I'm getting like mid-drive jerkiness and some stuff that I've had a challenge tuning out, but we'll figure it out with the next controller. All right, so I guess that's power stuff right now. Still stock motor. I do have my eyes on a 165 QS Hall sensor motor, or potentially a KO. We'll see how the far driver install goes and what I feel I need after that. But yeah, that's I guess power stuff on the Sur Ron for now. Until like other mods. So I obviously like to put my own spin on things from an aesthetic standpoint. So that's kind of where the checkers and some of the red striping throughout the bike comes from. Checkers are a thing of mine. I like to incorporate on bikes. My grandfather had an old, I think it was a Mercury or something. I don't know. He had an old car back in like his 20s, and he put a checkerboard roof on it. So it's a slight homage to him, slight thing that I just like find cool. And then the red stripes are again a thing from Eastgate days. I put them on all my boards, just one of my calling cards. So yeah, and then other aesthetics. So we've got a custom light setup on that I built for the bike too. They're two 7-inch LEDs, just relatively bright. I've tinted one yellow to give it a more fog light, and like not be as blinding really, so I can run it for a daytime light. But other aesthetics. That's kind of it aesthetics wise, I guess. But I'm running a front bag as well from Chrome. Love this bag. It holds a bike chain really well. Chrome Industries, yeah. Really good company. Quality products. Love them a lot. And yeah, other aesthetics. So seat, I've got a Luna seat on it right now, the leather one. I like it. I don't have any major issues with it, but I am getting a Sur Ron shop extended seat just for fun. I did put pegs on it for a passenger, so if the wife wants to go on a picnic somewhere, jump on the Ronnie, go do that. So trying to convince her we don't need a Vespa, but we're probably gonna get a Vespa too. What other stuff have I done with the Ron? So in terms of like I guess other mechanical stuff. I've got prickly parts on this thing, some fun prickly parts like the triangle, the linkage, really helps tighten it up in the corners. You don't feel the slop of the rear end so much anymore, which is nice. We've also got a extender hooked up to the bike, like a swing arm extender. Guy's out of Hawaii, good dude. I think the company's called Vanguard. But I'll get you his info. We'll plug him. But yeah, it was honestly a bear of a part to put on because he machined it so tightly to like the swing arm's tolerances, right? Like it's just such a tight fit. But I was able to press it in, did a little bit of filing, but we got it done. And it really helps. I like it a lot. I put an extender on the Z1. Realized some benefits from that, and when I found that there was, a non-full swing arm extender for Sur Rons, I was very interested. So, again, great dude from Hawaii hooked me up with that piece, and I've liked it so far. I will say, as extended swing arms go, it's not as flex proof as like a full CNC swing arm. It's still got the stock flex in it, but on street riding you don't notice it so much. And I do some trail riding, but not as much street riding. So for me, it's good for now. But yeah, that's the other thing I guess too, trail riding wise. I've got a whole other set of tires for this thing just to do trails behind Secaucus. Really good time. So definitely try to get out there if you guys are brave enough. Yeah. Oh, with brakes, I've got the Warp 9 rotors, the what are they, the 230s, 220s? I forget. But the fun part about this bike's brakes are the actual calipers and levers themselves. They're Hopes. I like Hope a lot. I've used Maguras, and Maguras work well when they are set up correctly. And I, people love the plastic they're made out of. That's fine and well and good. But I like CNC'd products for something that I'm going to be doing upwards of, 60 miles an hour on. So that's one of the selling points for Hope for me. I also like the bite point adjustment they offer. And they look good too because they got stainless lines. They're fun. So I do like my Hopes a lot. People say you need to buy the most brand new Hopes out there, spend like $800. I personally don't think you do. I think these are Hope Tech 3 V4. Yeah, Tech 3 V4s. So they're the step below what just came out, and they still stop on a dime. So I think a lot of people who spend a lot of money on brakes are parts queens and don't use their bike. But that's me. Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of fun things you can do with a Sur Ron, which is what attracted me to it. I like the flexibility of the frame. You can put big ass tires on it. You can put little ass tires on it. You can put off-road tires on it, on-road tires on it. So it's a nice. I like the versatility of the frame, which is what finally brought me to it. Plus the ability to handle more power. Plus I missed mid-drive. Hub motors are great. They don't make the same noises that mid-drives do, which I like noises because I'm a car guy. So I do like a little bit of belt whine. And they're just like a little bit more well balanced than a hub motorbike is. But yeah, it's a great bike. I guess I did handlebars too on it. Cannondale handlebars from some kind of mountain bike, I forget which. And then I guess I got a race spec mud guard on it right now, but that's changing. Yeah, I think that's all the mods on the Sur Ron. It's a fun bike. It's probably my favorite PEV I've ever bought. All right. So I guess really like the idea of having two bikes to choose from that are so different from each other. That was another reason why I was said, okay, I'll give myself permission to buy a Sur Ron. Hey man. So I like the ability to have a very streetable bike like the Super. It's got pedals still, but it's still got above moped power and speed. So it's a fun little compact unit that you can whip around, take on ferries, and not be bothered by and that kind of thing. But then the Sur Ron's semi motorcycle-esque almost to the point where I've modified it to, especially with the big wheels on it now. It is a lot of fun to whip around on, and it's definitely a different experience than what you would get on a Super, be it a Z1 or an RX. So that's kind of why I'm really happy with the stable right now. I've got a nice option, which is always kind of my goal when modding, is you want to have the ability to pick a different thing a different day and just have a different experience. And ride something custom you built. It's fun. It's always fun to know that you put your time and effort into something, and that you're happy with it, and that whenever you take it somewhere, it gets appreciated. And that's either of my bikes. And I'm really, content with that. It's why we build, right? I guess that brings us to what are we doing over the winter, right? Everyone's busy, busy with projects. I am and cold and inside because it's cold. I am no different. I have projects galore, and definitely do when the winter comes around. I've got plans. I've got a list of plans. So first on that list is that controller modification I was talking about for the Sur Ron here. I've got a fun little big controller. It's a Far Driver ND72680. So that's good for 350 battery, 680 motor. So that's that should be fun on the Ronnie. I think that'll be enough, but we'll see. And after that, it'll probably be, I got a new set of tires for the Super. I got some, what are they called? The Lizards. Yeah, the Lizards from Super 73. They're 20 by 4.5 instead of 20 by 4, which is what I'm running right now. I got some Kendas on it. So I think that'll give it a little bit more cushy ride, which I think will be nice because it's a hardtail. So it's definitely still rougher. What else? We got so actually I have another e-bike we haven't talked about, but I have it's an 83, I think, Shogun, which was my dad's bike back in the day, and I converted that to a nice little like pizza pickup machine, if you will. It's got a little rack on it. But I say that to say I got another bike out of my grandfather's garage recently, a Royal Union, which I think I dated correctly to like the mid 60s. So that I also want to do another like single speed style conversion to, and just make it a nice little, cruiser for around town and stuff like that if anyone wants to borrow a bike. And then beyond that, I've got a 5 kilowatt motor and all my old parts for the Mario that I kind of want to put back together and like detune a little. I won't make it as fast as it was, and bring that back up to my family's house up in Maine, so that everyone's got a cruiser to use up there. So yeah, that's the bike projects for the winter as of now. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. This again has been Brent, aka Brentley Builds. Give me a follow if you want to see what I get up to. I do post weekly. It's not always building content, but it's always some kind of PEV content. I hope everyone has a safe time riding out there. Do have fun, but don't kill anyone. It's not worth it. Yeah, everyone have fun out there. So this is going to be the new mounting system that I'm going to be using on the Sur Ron. It's from a guy out in China called Technic Q EMX, I think is his name. But yeah, basically those two pieces go together, but this controller will mount to this front plate like so, basically. And then that will all swing down and fit in the Sur Ron like so. So
I didn't get that.
Oh, it'll fit in the Sur Ron like so without the Sabaton there. Yeah, so looking forward to getting this and my new bash plate mounted up, because it's gonna be a nice little eye catcher on the bike as well.
So there you have it. That's my boy Brent, aka Brently Builds on Instagram. And in my opinion, he is the king of modification. Brent was gracious enough to allow me to ride both of those bikes. And let me tell you that the time was short that we spent, but it was memorable. Thank you, Brent, for that. I have a full ride video coming up, as well as the updates that he has made on the Sur Ron. So watch for it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. I get back to everybody. And if you want, let's see if I can do this. Please subscribe. So until the next video, peace out, everybody. All right, despite the fact that I love this helmet, I just picked up a Ruroc. I've had those helmets before, and they recently had a sale, so I took advantage. This is probably one of the coolest houses in Staten Island, and it is because of this structure over here. I really love it. So I chose this spot to talk about this bike a little bit. I haven't ridden on this bad boy in a while. She is dusty, but definitely ride worthy. Don't know what, oh, thank God. Alright, so shout out to my boy E-Rock Rods. I told you I wouldn't take that off. It's still on there. Big up to Mackie Mac for this beautiful design. I love it. And this is the magic right there. It helps me get subscribers. Shout out to Powerful Lithium, because without them, this gut in here, this 72 volt 51 amp hour battery changed my life. And my apologies to any Onyx owners that haven't seen me on this bad boy in a while. The team over at Spark Cycle Works hooked me up with the Bandit, and I have been having so much fun on the Bandit that this one got kicked to the curb for a little while, and it has a layer of dust as a result.